Good afternoon, everyone, and greetings to the engineering class of 1970. Actually, I was supposed to be in that class, but I failed English 100, so they held me back a year. And as a result, I wound up graduating in 1971. And, you know, on reflection, with regards to this book, had I been in the class of 70, I may not have met Gary and Jim. And whether or not this book would have happened or not is anybody knows, but regardless, I'm a very proud member of the class of 71, working with these distinguished gentlemen and ladies on this book, and it's out there and we're very proud of it. How did it all start? Well, I had to do a little bit of research on this because it was a couple of years ago, but at our 45th reunion, we keyed in with the Old Red, New Red, and during the course of the evening, Jim McEwen, Gary Wong, and myself, we just got sidelined and we started talking about the old days, and we started talking about Walter Gage, and Jim was quite concerned that his legacy had been lost because the students today, all they knew about was Gage Towers and the Gage Road, and that was basically it. So anyways, during our conversation, the three of us, the subject of a book came up, and Jim had mentioned, he says, yeah, I was talking to somebody else that I know that works at UBC that thought a book about him would be a good idea. So that being said, we decided, okay, let's check this out and let's proceed. So we set up a meeting, Gary, Jim, myself, and Tammy Brimner. She was the lady that suggested the book as well and was interested in working on it. So she joined our team. And then we decided, well, if we're going to do a book, we know nothing about that. So very fortunate that Jim knew Danny Pert, and he's an established author. So he volunteered to help us out. And then we decided, okay, we need somebody out there that's associated with the Amaret High. And there's Michael Davies, perfect candidate. So there was our team. We had regular meetings at the Westford Ho out at the University Golf Club. And when they were closed, we met at Jim McEwen's office, very graciously offered up to us. He served refreshments, which was really nice. Where do we start? Well, Jim and Michael and Tammy started out going to the UBC archives and just doing a bit of a deep dive there and seeing what was there, and a veritable gold mine. At the same time, Jim, Michael, and Tammy were out soliciting donations to get the some funds here to get the book going. And my job was to go out and get stories. And Gary was to do the computer website, create the website, the blog, et cetera, et cetera. So anyways, as far as getting stories go, I thought that I'd get hundreds and hundreds of them. I'd contacted the Alumni Association, Trek Magazine. I contacted the Engineering Association, called for stories through their magazine, Innovation, and also the Applied Science Ingenuity magazine. I contacted all of the faculties. I contacted these people not just once, but several times. And at the end of it, after several months, we got 100 quality stories, and Gary posted them all on our on the website. And speaking of the website, I kind of laugh early on in our meetings. Gary says, I don't know, I have a clue what I'm going to be doing on this project. And I said, oh, I'm sure something will come up. Well, lo and behold, he was involved in creating the website and all the blogs, and he's just done a phenomenal job of updating it and everything. And I encourage each of you to go and visit it. You can read all the stories that have been submitted, and it's just a timeline of start to finish with the book. So it's really quite a very comprehensive website. We got all this information, and okay, we need an author and we need a photo editor. So we're very fortunate that Jim McEwen was quite close to Shelley Frolick. He used to be I think he was the managing editor of the Vancouver Sun, and Kate Bird, who was also worked with the Sun. She was the photo editor. So they spent quite a bit of time at the archives, and they did a deep dive, and they started working on the book. It was truly a pleasure for me to be able to work on this project with such a dedicated bunch of people. And speaking to the people on the book creation team, with the exception of Danny Pert, none of us had any experience in writing a book. And yet I don't think we could come up with a better team. Really, everybody was so dedicated and just really totally into it that they gave it their all. The book launch was in February of 2018, almost 2 years to the date from when the concept of coming up with the book originated. It came out, we had an official launch at the University Golf Club, over 100 people in attendance. We had speeches from many dignitaries, Shelley Frolick, our book launch team, several professors, Chief Bill Wilson, Preston Manning. It was a very successful event, and I was amazed at how many people, as soon as they got the book, their noses were in it. I actually had to call a halt to the proceedings of the evening and tell people, please close your books, pay attention. We've got some guest speakers here. It's almost like having to tell kids to turn their cell phones off right now, but it was really, really well received. I was a little bit surprised. I thought it was going to be a book of stories, but it was more than that. The stories were inclusive, not all 100 of them, but key ones were put in there just to give a flavor to the kind of man he was. But it was a book about Walter Gage, and it was remarkable. There was things in there that I didn't know, and so the mission was accomplished. Shelley and Kate, they did a phenomenal job of putting this all together. So it really is a story about the man. I'd just like to draw your attention to this particular slide, which is taken from page 109 of the book. The book was done chronologically, and this particular event was one of Walter Gage's birthday celebrations, which was hosted by the class of 70. So this has particular meaning for you folks. I'm sure you recognize a lot of each other, a lot of faces in this. I'm sure that some of you have more gold in your teeth and less hair, and a little more weight. But again, we've captured that, and as I say, I'd just like to reiterate, it has special meaning to your class of 70 on this 50th reunion for you. We initially ordered 800 books. So again, this is a one-off book. It is kind of like a limited edition book. There will be no more printings. So they're all told it will be only 1,000 books printed. So I urge you to get one, because it is definitely a keepsake, and it's something that even if you didn't go to UBC, it's a good read. It's a great read. I know I bought copies for all of my sons, and none of them went to university. Well, one went to Simon Fraser, and he was totally impressed with the man, and he even wrote a review of it on Amazon. And so it's like I say, it doesn't have to be just for people at UBC, although it has more meaning for alumni. But it's a great read for anybody. So if you are interested in purchasing a book, you can either get it at the UBC bookstore, or you can order it from Amazon. But I really do encourage you to get the book, because it's a great read about the man, also the way the campus used to be when we were there. The other thing is, Walter Gage wrote the annual foreword and the slipstick. So there's a lot about the man. I read his foreword just recently, and it had more meaning to me now than it did then. This was the last slipstick foreword written by Walter Gage, because he retired that year, 1975. Listened to a story tape one time. It was about a man who spent his whole life looking for the Holy Grail, which is the secret to eternal life. And in the end, he found it. And it really stuck in my mind what the Holy Grail was. And it was something very simple. It was stories. People keep telling stories about people, either written or verbal. And that keeps their memories alive. And there it is. There's a secret to eternal life, just stories. So this book it's all about Walter Gage's Holy Grail. And again, I really encourage all of you, if you don't have it right now, to get it, read it, and pass it on to somebody else. I urge you to get a copy.